So this is the second video that I'm filming today, and I was lazy, so all I did was change my hair and put on a necklace. This is my normal hair, by the way. I did not curl it today, so this is probably the first time you're seeing it the way it just kind of is. Yeah. Again, feeling lazy today. So, hello there. Oh, you know what I didn't do in the last video? I didn't say my name or welcome you to my channel. So I'll make up for it now. You see my straw still. I'll put this down. Hi, what's up? My name is Amanda May, or Amanda May, and welcome to my BookTube channel. I'm so out of practice because I haven't filmed for like 2 months, but I'm trying to film as many videos as I can today. It's probably only gonna be like 2 or 3, but still, that's a lot more than 0. What are we gonna do today? So today in this video, I am going to give you my May TBR. It is going to be a very loose TBR because as I've mentioned previously, my job's busy season was extended. It is not over yet. It's like 2020 all over again. So still working a bunch, still finding a hard time making time to read. Finding a hard time making time to, you get it. So I'm going to try and keep this on the smaller side. I do technically have like 10 books on my TBR, but I'm going to share with you, can you hear the lawn people outside? They're loud. I'm sorry if you can hear that. Anyway, I'm going to share with you the books that are higher on my priority that I am going to make every effort to, you know, at least start in May. That'd be nice. 2 of them I've already started, so I'm off to a good start. I'm saying start too much now. This video is great. Okay. Great start. So yeah, this is my May TBR. Let's get into it. First up is something that I have already started and I'm really enjoying, and that would be Flame Fall by Rosario Munda. I am buddy reading this with Al from the French Book Dreamer, and it is my first like buddy read where I'm actually talking to somebody during the reading process. And I love that. I love that. It's something I'm not really used to because I don't read books with people very often. I'm lucky if I can talk to somebody about a book that we have both read in the past. So this is a new experience for me and it's super fun and I love it. We are already 100 pages into the book, but we're kind of reading it on the slower side since I feel like a broken record, but since I'm not able to read at my normal pace because of my job, she has so kindly agreed to read it at my pace, which is wonderful. Anyway, this is the sequel to Fireborn, and Fireborn is an amazing political fantasy with dragons, and what's not to love about that? And so clearly I'm not going to tell you what the sequel is about, and you've probably heard me talk about Fireborn a million times, so I'll just give a brief synopsis. Not quite as brief as what I just said though. So we have our Anastasia trope, right? We have one of the main characters who was a member of a royal family. His entire family gets murdered and he escapes that and gets put in an orphanage. Now, nobody can know who he is because his family was murdered in a rebellion. There is now a whole new government in place in his country, and if people knew who he was, he would be in danger because people hated the old regime. The old regime was kind of awful. And kind of the whole point, well, not the whole point, a big point in the first book is figuring out if the new regime is really any better than the old one. The new regime has its issues too. Anyway, in this orphanage, our royal main character makes friends with a peasant main character, dual point of view, and they grow up together. They're very close friends, and they both get chosen to be dragon riders for their country. And that's where the dragons come in, and the dragons are wonderful. They're basically like puppies. They're so cute and I love them. But yeah, it's very heavy in politics, which I didn't know if I would love, but I did because Rosario Munda does such a good job. She is a political theory major, or she majored in political theory in college. And not even just her politics, just every little thing about these books is so believable, so complex, so realistic. The relationships between the characters are complex and realistic. And I think she just does everything right. She just does everything right. And so far the sequel is following suit. So I'm so excited to get through this and see what I think of it. I've heard really good reviews so far, so I'm excited. Again, I'm sorry if you can hear the lawn mower, I guess, whatever that's making noise outside my house. Very sorry. I can't afford to wait to film this, so we're just gonna have to push through. Next up is another book that I've already started, and that would be House of Dragons by Jessica Cluess. And this was on my January TBR, February TBR, March TBR. I finally started it in April, and it is like barely, so it's carrying over into May. And I was so excited to read this book. I don't understand how it's taken me this long because of how excited I've been to read this book, but finally there. It is about 5 characters. You can see there are 5 like swords to represent them, but each character is a dragon rider. And in this world, when the emperor dies, there is a calling. A call goes out to the firstborn of the 5 major families in this empire. And they have to come and like fight it out. And the winner of this competition that's held becomes the new emperor or empress. And the fun thing, the twist about this storyline is that the firstborn of each family is not the person who is called, which has apparently never happened before. And so they're all very confused. And it's one of those where it lists off like a trait for each character, which I found very intriguing. So I'm gonna read them off. And that would be the liar, the soldier, the servant, the thief, and the murderer. How far am I in this book? I am about 87 pages into, I am 87 pages into this book, and I really like it so far. I really like it. The characters are all very different. I mean, it tells you what point of view you're reading from, but even if it didn't, I would know. Like, the characters are very distinct. Their relationships with their dragons are all kind of different so far. I am intrigued to learn more about the dragons themselves, but they all seem to be very different types of dragons. I tried to picture it in my head, but I'm like picturing How to Train Your Dragon and how they're like vastly different types of dragons. That's the vibe I get. So I have yet to get to the part where they're competing, but I'm so intrigued. And the idea is that I want to read this book before the second book comes out. And the second book was supposed to come out in May, but it seems to have been postponed indefinitely. So hopefully it comes out this year, because the whole reason I'm reading this book now, besides the fact that I want to, is because I'm preparing for the sequel. Does that make sense? Anyway, since I've already started this, I'm definitely finishing it this month. Surely, right? So look out for a review for this book. Also, the fact that I'm reading 2 books about dragon riders at the same time is not at all confusing. It's not at all confusing. I wasn't gonna do this, but when Elle reached out about Buddy reading this, I couldn't say no. So we're very dragon heavy right now, and it's okay because I love dragons and they're both high fantasy. So like, what's not to love? Moving on to the next book on my TBR, and that would be The Beast Player by Naoko Uehashi. I swear I'm gonna get that last name down. Uehashi. Am I saying it right? Anyway, this is a book translated from Japanese, and it was recommended to me via Instagram. I will link the Instagram handle down below so you can go check it out. But the cover art is what caught my eye originally, what made me stop scrolling, and then I read the description, and she compared it to a Miyazaki film, which is really all she had to do. That's all she had to do. So, so excited. I'm so excited. This is like, I just barely heard of this book a few weeks ago, I guess. Immediately bought it. I'm forcing myself to read it before I buy the sequel, but I'm so excited to buy the sequel. And this main character right here, she can talk to these two magical beasts. One of them is a water serpent. I'm picturing like a water dragon in my head, kind of like Haku in Spirited Away. That kind of dragon. And then the other one is, you can kind of see the wolf face hidden in the landscape. Excuse me, gorgeous. The other one is a flying wolf. I don't know what they call them. I can't remember. They just call them majestic flying beasts. Surely they have a name. Anyway, and the flying wolf beasts protect the queen. And I'm doing a horrible job at the synopsis. Let's see if I can do better. So our main character's family has been caretakers for these water serpents, and they can communicate with the water serpents. But when some of the water serpents mysteriously die, her mom is blamed and sentenced to death. But before she dies, she is able to rescue her daughter by sending her off far away. And so her daughter, the main character, figures out that not only can she communicate with these water serpents, she can also communicate with the majestic flying beasts. The flying wolves is what I call them. And the flying wolves protect the queen. So being able to communicate with both of these beasts apparently puts her in a position of power, but also puts her in immense danger because she is in the middle of all of the scheming that is going on. And the part, besides the fact that it was compared to a Miyazaki film, the other part that got me was that she is trying to prevent her beloved beasts from being used as tools in war. And that theme just speaks right to my soul. The fair treatment of animals and treasuring non-human life just really speaks to me. I think I'm going to relate to this main character on a whole other level. And I'm really excited about this book. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. It'll be the first novel translated from Japanese that I've ever read. I've read manga, but that's not quite the same. And it honestly might be the first book that's been compared to a Miyazaki film that I've ever read. And it's gorgeous. And I can't wait. So I put it on my May TBR, like I can't wait. It's a new book for me and I'm gonna read it soon. Like it just jumped the line. It cut, but it's fine, I love it. Also, can we talk about how the hardcover is this gorgeous green? It's also textured. I don't know if that's gonna come through on the camera. I think you can see it, but it's this gorgeous green color and I love it. Oh, I love it. Aside from this one Instagram post, I haven't heard anybody talking about this book or mentioning this book ever. So I am really excited to be reading it and to be able to tell all of you who may or may not have ever heard of this book what I think about it. Stay tuned. Okay, there are two other books that are on my TBR that I really, really, really want to get through. The lawn maintenance guy is so loud. It's so loud. I'm so sorry. So one of those books is none other than A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. I need to read this because I need to watch all of the YouTube videos that were posted like a month ago that I have been avoiding because I've been avoiding spoilers. So I really, really need to read this, like not just because I am an ACOTAR stan and I just need to read it, but I also want to watch all of y'all's videos. The only thing I can really say about this is that it is the fourth or fifth, depending on how you want to count it, book in the ACOTAR series, and it follows Nesta and Cassian. And we love ACOTAR in this house. So, and if you don't know, ACOTAR stands for A Court of Thorns and Roses. Yeah, I need to read this. And it's a brick. I think it's like, actually I don't know how many pages it is. It's almost 800 pages, because of course it is. This is the tour edition. If you watched my last video, you know that I am salty about the fact that it did not come with a dust jacket to cover up this bright neon orange. So you saw it, I'm sure you saw it because it's hard to miss on my bookshelf. This bright neon orange is kind of taking away from the rest of the gorgeousness of one of my favorite shelves. Just having to deal with it right now. But if you can think of a nice way to get around having a bright neon spine on my shelf without having to go out and buy the normal book and using that dust cover, let me know. I need advice. I need options. But at least while I'm reading it, this won't be on my shelf. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this. Surely, I'm at least gonna start it this month, okay? It's big, but I'm at least gonna start it this month because it needs to get done. Okay, there's only one other book that is on my TBR that I am going to get through at least a significant portion this month. And I say at least a significant portion because it is another brick, okay? It's The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I started this today. I have the audiobook, and the plan is to both listen to it while I'm like doing chores and stuff because I need an audiobook to listen to while I do that, but also to follow along because if I don't do that, I think I might get lost. Even just listening to like the prologue and the first chapter on audiobook without following along, I'm already a little lost. It really helps to be able to see the words, especially the made up words like people's names or words related to magic, right? It helps for me to be able to see the words so that I understand what they're actually saying. I'm a very visual person that way. And so that's my plan, is to read along for the most part to the audiobook. But I'm really excited to be starting this, finally. I'm following an order, not a Stormlight Archive, a Cosmere order that was suggested by Elliot Brooks. I'll link her channel down below. And so I just finished Elantris. And so this is the next book in her list of, this is the order that you should read the Cosmere books. But as I'm sure everyone knows, this is like 1,000 pages long. How long is it? It is just over 1,000 pages long. So I keep slipping. We may or may not finish this in May. The fact that I have it in audiobook gives me hope that maybe I will actually finish it in May, because I do go through audiobooks more quickly because I listen to them at like 2 times the speed. But this might bleed into June. We shall see. In any case, I'm just really excited to be starting the Stormlight Archive finally. I have no idea what this is about, so I can't give you a synopsis. No idea. Really, no idea whatsoever. I could probably read the back and still not know what this is about. So maybe once I finish, I'll be able to give you a synopsis. I don't know, maybe I won't, because you would think that after watching so many people talk about the Stormlight Archives, I would have at least an idea about what it's about, but I don't. So yeah, if you don't count novellas, this will be my fifth Brandon Sanderson book. I am still a Brandon Sanderson stan. Let's go. Let's get this. My husband, don't hate him, but he doesn't like this book. He doesn't like this book, but this was the first Brandon Sanderson book that he had ever read. And he listened to it on audiobook. We didn't have the physical book, so I'm blaming that. I'm gonna make him read Mistborn and see what he thinks, because who could not like Mistborn? Mistborn is wonderful. If you don't like Mistborn, in the comments down below right now, go tell me why. I need to know why, because it's not something that I can just intuitively understand. So you need to explain yourself. But hopefully once he gets through Mistborn, he'll maybe give this a second try. And I'm so confident that I'm gonna like this, that I will be crushed if I don't like this. I'm manifesting that I'm gonna like this. So yeah, very excited. This is the last book on my like solid May TBR. But before I end this video, I am gonna just give out like honorable mentions of books that I would like to get to if by some miracle I have the time and energy to actually do it. So let's go through some of those. Okay, so we're not gonna spend very much time in this section of the video, but I did just want to give you a heads up for some of the books that I hopefully will get to if I end up finishing the other, there are only 5 books? The other 5 books. Wow, I have lowered my standards. 5 isn't bad. 5 isn't bad. 5 is good. Okay, especially when 2 of them are giant. One of the books that I want to read if I get through all my other 5 books is Circe by Madeline Miller. Madeline Miller, yeah, Madeline, I don't know. Is it Madeline or Madeline? I've had this on my shelf for a while now and it's gorgeous. Look at this. This is the UK edition and I'm just gonna, cause I have to, I'm just gonna show you really quick. Look at the hardcover. There's nothing on the back. This is a mythology retelling. It's kind of a compilation of all of the myths that Circe is in, but they're all, it's like stitched together to be her story. Cause my understanding is that she doesn't really get a story, like a myth of her own where she is the main character. That's my, I don't know mythology, but that's my understanding. Anyway, this has really good reviews. And I really want to read it because I don't know if I'm going to like mythology retellings. So before I buy any other mythology retellings, I want to give one a shot and see if it's for me. So this is the one that is going to be my like test subject. Another one that I would like to get to, and if I'm in the mood for a manga, this is what I will pick up, is The Wolf Children by Mamoru Hosoda. So this is about a mom and her 2 children, and her children can turn into wolves, and that is like all I know. But a coworker recommended the movie to me and said it's really, really good. I saw that there's a manga. It's actually a hardback, which is crazy. So I'm gonna read the manga before I watch the movie. But yeah, this will be my next manga. May or may not get to this in May. Another one I would like to get to is a middle grade, and that would be Pax by, I should know these, Sarah Pennypacker. And this is about a fox and his boy. And it's kind of like, I get Fox and the Hound vibes where the boy moves and is not able to take the fox with him. And so he releases the fox into the wild, like kind of tricks the fox so that the fox doesn't follow him. It's a story about them trying to find each other, their way back to each other. And it sounds heartbreaking, but also really beautiful. And yeah, I just really want to read this. I need to be prepared to cry, I feel like. But I am hopeful of getting to this in May. We'll see. One more. The last like B-team book for May is The Binding by Bridget Collins. And this has also been on my shelf for a while. I really want to get to it. And it is kind of hard to explain the synopsis. I'm not sure if I 100% really know what it's about. But in this story, books are kind of like not allowed. But there are bookbinders who make, I don't know if I'm saying this right, they make books, but they'll like bind people's memories into the book. And so if you go through something traumatic or you have something that you want to forget, you can go to these bookbinders and they will bind a book for you, I guess, and you will lose those memories. That's my understanding. So our main character becomes a bookbinder apprentice and he finds a book with his name on it. That's what I remember the synopsis, and it was enough to make me want to buy this book. So really want to get to this soon, hopefully in May, we shall see. Also, I will never not show you the hardcovers. This is maybe the prettiest book I own. I don't know, it has competition, but there goes the dust jacket. Look at that, it's on the back too. Just look at that. This is stunning. Stunning. Anyway, that's the last book on my unofficial TBR. If I have time, I'll get to it. Crossing my fingers, but you know, realistically, may not happen. So down below in the comments, let me know if you have read any of these books, and if you have, what you thought of them. Are there any of these that you're really excited for me to read? If one of the books on my unofficial section of the TBR is one that really interests you, let me know and I will prioritize it over the other 3 or 4, however many there are. You can help me pick my 6th book if I get that far. Otherwise, please leave a like down below. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. I would so appreciate it. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.